Hi everyone, karibuni sana. Today we have a very special guest, the one and only Pastor Nikko. Pastor Nikko, karibu sana.
Thank you.
It's good to have you for us to be able to chat kidogo sana. Just for those of us that do not know Pastor Nikko needs no introduction here at Nairobi Chapel. But for those of you that are new here at Nairobi Chapel, let me just give Pastor Nikko an opportunity to just quickly introduce himself. Karibu sana, Pastor Nikko.
Thank you. Thank you. My name is Nikko. My full name is actually Nicodemus. But I was well known as Nikko Ochieng. Served here at Nairobi Chapel for about 6 years as the worship pastor, and towards the last few years as the worship and services pastor. Just leading the team that makes services happen. And it's great to see that is still happening in a big way. We thank God for that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about your family.
My family, yes. I'm married to one amazing, beautiful girl. She's called Tabitha. As a result of prayer and fasting, we have 3 children. We have 3 children. Nicolette, who is now 12. Then Oliver is those years.
Just slightly younger.
Slightly younger.
Keep it that way for
and
us.
Then Alicia is 7. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Karibu sana. By the
thank
way,
you.
Nikko ametoka majuu. He's now based in the UK.
Yes.
And it's exciting to hear the ministry that's going on in the UK. Tell us a bit about your ministry now in the United Kingdom.
United Kingdom. I serve in a young but very dynamic church in a part of England called Gloucester. So that's where we serve. The church is called Destiny Temple, and I serve there as one of the worship leaders, working with an amazing band and under the leadership of an amazing bishop. And that is where we are. That's where we do church now.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And we don't just share a name, okay? Nikko, victorious among the people. That's what that name means.
Exactly.
But we also share a great team. Arsenal.
The only team.
The only team. Let's just
The
keep
only
it there,
team.
just for the record. Just for those of you who are watching. Great people share great teams. But karibu sana.
And we
Nikko.
share the same color as well.
All those. The real,
The real
African to the bone. But karibu sana, Nikko.
Thank you.
And thank you for accepting our invitation to have this discussion. I don't, take it for granted that you'd accept to be able to have this quick chat with us. But let's start here. As you mentioned, you had served for 6 years as worship and services pastor here at Nairobi Chapel. But in the year 2018, you had to suddenly leave us as Nairobi Chapel. And in many senses, many people were wondering, okay, why? Where is Pastor Nikko? And probably for 2 years, I was asked the question, where is Pastor Nikko? What's happening with Pastor Nikko? And different people that knew you personally got to be able to engage with you and interact with you. But I just want, again, just to be able to clear the air for those that are members at Chapel that are not fully, aware about, all the details of what happened. Could you just tell us what happened? I mean, why did Pastor Nikko just, chomoka?
In 2018, I would possibly say 2018, 2019 were 2 very hard years for me and my family as well. In 2018, just before 2018, I was having a number of challenges in my marriage, like many other marriages would. The challenge at that point is I got myself into another relationship outside of my marriage. And that did not go down well. And the problem is I think I'd gotten to a place where I was okay with it, thinking that it would possibly come back and resolve the issues that I had in my marriage. But that was definitely not the case. I had conversations with leaders here in the church, including you, Pastor Nick. And at that point, the best thing to do as a leader was to be able to step down and
focus
on myself and my marriage at that particular time. So that is the reason why I left, seemingly left abruptly.
And it's understandable because I know immediately after, you graciously and honorably stepped down to concentrate on your marriage. But I know that season wasn't easy. immediately after you stepped down. How was that season for you? That challenging season immediately after serving with us? Yeah.
That was a very hard season for me because I remember putting in my resignation letter in September of 2018, and in December of 2019, photos of myself and the girl that I had gotten into the relationship with were all over the social media. And the little that I had started working on, because at this point we had already gone our separate ways, the little I'd started working on towards rebuilding my marriage all crumbled down. It was a very hard time for my wife. She made a very tough decision that if I was in her position, I probably wouldn't have thought of anything else.
Yeah.
And so she said, we can't continue living together, and asked that I need to leave. And at that point, I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I was going to do. A part of me was feeling, okay, I don't have a job. My family is here. Of course, I had bills that I needed to take care of. And then now I'm having to go and find myself a place to stay. I remember living in my car for about a week because when I left my house, I only left with my suitcase, with my clothes, and a spare mattress. So I remember, because I had a hatchback car, I remember putting the mattress there and sleeping in different car parks in this city for about a week when I was trying to figure out where am I going to stay. And so, I went, found a place to stay, and that house was so empty, not empty because it didn't have furniture, but because I'd gotten to a place where I didn't have anything. There was nothing in me, So I stayed in that house. It was one of the hardest seasons in my life. Attempted suicide twice in that particular house. A very good friend of mine came to my rescue once. The second time it just did not work. I don't know why. Probably I was too scared. But there's once that if my friend did not open my door, I probably wouldn't be here today. And when he came in, he told me, this is not the end of life. You have to put yourself together. But 2019, especially, was one of the hardest years I probably have ever experienced in my life. Yeah.
And what we're talking about today in our service, but also we've been talking about this entire time, has been leaders are not perfect. We're normal and we make mistakes. But in a sense, we shouldn't be defined by our mistakes. We shouldn't be defined by our failures. And I'm grateful that you had a friend like that who could step in and be able to be your friend. That thing for a friend in need, and be there. But I'm really curious, during that time in your lowest moment in your life, that time where you had, given up hope, because when you have suicidal thoughts, it's like you've completely given up hope completely. What helped? Other than this friend who came to your aid at that time and was present in your life, what helped? What helped you get back onto your feet? What helped you gather hope again? What helped you, be able to step out of that season? Yeah.
I don't know if anything helped, to be honest, because I tried everything possible to get back to at least be able to have a conversation with my wife and to be able to still stay sane. Remember, all these months are going, and the house I am in, I need to be able to pay rent. I have mortgage on the other side that is still running. That is still my responsibility. I don't have a job, and I don't even have the psyche to go and do anything out there. So at that point, I don't think there is anything I can place a finger on and say, this helped. Not in that, not in the early stages of that season.
Yeah.
Later on, I had a few people who actually walked up to me, and the funny thing and the most heartbreaking thing for me, I think, is 75 or 80% of the people that came to my rescue were non-believers. People who don't go to church, people who don't believe in God, people who will just come and say, you have stayed in this house for too long, we are going out for a drink. And it was so quiet from the church front, and that being the only space I have lived in for all my life pretty much. I expected I would get at least one person to come and say, what's happening with you? But it was so hard. The world, I normally say, I found love where love should not exist. Because that's what the world did. People who don't go to church, they don't believe in God, but they came to my rescue. They came and told me, you can't live like this. These things happen. Some of them shared their stories, and I was like, okay, I should even stop crying myself, because people are actually dealing with bigger issues. But that's the only thing I would say at that particular time stood out for me, and is very memorable at that particular time. Yeah.
So how did you get back together with Tabs, with your wife, and just how did things slowly start piecing back together? How did healing begin to appear? How did restoration happen to the place where you got your family, back, and you got your life back? You got the opportunity to be Nikko, as we know Nikko again.
One is first to really appreciate my wife, because through this season, she protected our children, and did not paint a bad image of me to their children. So the children still looked up to me, and they never knew exactly what was happening. I think they were too young to process that. And that's one thing I really appreciate her for. Two is she never closed the doors on me. She said, we cannot live together, but you can see the children. You can have the children over for the weekend and things like that. And that really helped, because it opened a communication channel. And what I constantly did is to one, recognize that I had done wrong and that I had hurt her feelings, and not just hurt her feelings, but deeply hurt her. And secondly was to apologize to her, but not just through words, but even through my actions and what I do around her. So it called for a lot of mind shift and changing how I do things around her. Remember, this is a marriage that had suffered a few years before this. So we had had a few challenges that we had faced in the past. But this was just like the backbreaker. Slowly, in just talking with my wife and trying to win her back, she was still like, no, it is too deep, it's still too painful, I can't do this. And I remember my world was falling apart, because I had lost my social circle completely. I remember I was in a group with some of my church friends. We were just friends who used to hang out, but we were not like a pastoral team or anything, but they are leaders in different parts of the church. And I remember when all this happened, the first thing is, I just saw so-and-so removed you from the group.
Wow.
And I wondered to myself. And what I think hurt me at that time was, these are people that I know their lifestyles, because having been in a pastoral position, I had so many people who were vulnerable to me in that sense and confided in me. And these are people that I looked at and I was like, you were the first one to cast the stone. But then I never got back to anyone. So it was a really hard time. I remember one day walking through Junction Mall, and there's a lady from church who saw me from that corner and she crossed to the other side. Wow. And I just felt this is not working. I was so ashamed. I didn't feel loved at all. And so at that point I made a decision and said I was going to go away. And I looked at my passport and counted the countries that I have been to. And I was like, I'm not going to any country I have been to before. I am going to this country that I have never been to, because I don't want to go to a place where I know there's a church that I will try to connect to, because I need time to be able to heal. And I remember having that conversation with my wife and telling her, I think I need to go away. She didn't think it was a good idea, but I told her I have to do it for the sake of our family and for the sake of my own sanity. And I knew that with the suicidal thoughts that I had accommodated in my head over and over, I knew it's only a matter of time before something bad happens. And so I left, and I picked England. And by the grace of God, through Nairobi Chapel, which I really appreciate, I had traveled to so many countries. And so getting a visa to the UK was not going to be a problem. So I got my visa, I called my uncle, and I told my uncle I'm coming. And he asked me, so what are you coming to do? I told him I don't know. I'm just coming. If I'm coming to die, let me come and die. But I'm not going to die in front of my children. And my plan at that point was to disappear. Go and just disappear from the face of the earth. I got to England, and my uncle told me, oh, but there's a church here that I know you like church things. There's a church here, you can go and see them. And I remembered a friend of mine had told me that the brother was pastoring a church in England. So then I told my uncle, I don't feel church. I'm not feeling church at all. Then he said, okay, fine. Then again he came and said, listen, you can just go and check it out. There's nothing wrong with that. So when I went there, it happened that the lead pastor and his wife, who is one of the worship leaders, and their main worship leader at that time, were traveling for a mission. And so when I went and saw the bishop, he told me, oh, okay, but you know, we're actually traveling. We need, could you just hold fort? And I was like, not again. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. Yeah. And I remember struggling with that decision. But then I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. It had been, I think, about 2 years. I said, I'm going to do it. Since I'd led worship. Yeah. And I remember talking to the bishop and telling the bishop, this is where I am. And I thank God for him, because they accepted me the way I am. And for me, that was the beginning of my restoration. Got into more conversations with my wife. And at that point, we were not discussing anything like coming back together. But then something happened. When the bishop came back with a team from the mission, then everyone was just saying, oh, he's nice, can he stay? Oh, he's nice, can he stay? And the bishop asked, would you be willing to stay? And I told him, I don't have anything I'm going back to in Kenya, so I might as well stay. And so he processed for me the paperwork, and they offered me a job at that particular time. And the advantage was that this job would allow me to bring my family. Yeah. And I told God, if this door has been opened by you, then let it be the door that will lead us into a restoration for my marriage. Yeah. And I remember praying and telling God, I'm going to tell my wife, and you have to talk to her before this, because she has to say yes. And I spoke to her, and I told her, I've gotten this job. Would you be willing to come and join us, to come into England and come with the kids? And will you give us a chance to start afresh and start life again? And she said she needed to think about it. This had been about 1.5 years of being separated. And so she said she'll think about it. And I remember one morning she called me and said, you know, I've thought about it. I'll give you a chance, but you have to prove to me that I'm not making a mistake with this chance. Yeah. And for me, I think there was a relief, because I was like, this is what I've always prayed for. Yeah. So I came back to Kenya in January of 2020 to process our paperwork, to leave. COVID had just hit, and so everyone is threatening to close their borders. processed our paperwork. Miraculously, we needed to raise about 2.5 million to be able to take the whole family there. Yeah. It's money we did not have. Both of us have not been at work. So we started selling every single thing that had our name on it. Sold everything, raised the money, borrowed where we could, got the money, and put in our application. And exactly 4 days later, our passports were back with a decision. Something that even the visa processing team was saying, you were just here the other day. How come your passport is back? 4 days.
Yeah.
And that was God.
Yeah.
And the UK closed their borders 2 days after we had entered into the UK.
During now when the COVID season
When
hit.
the COVID season hit.
Yeah.
And the UK went into lockdown on Monday when we had just landed in on that Saturday.
Wow.
And I told God, even those visas coming in early, was God just making sure that we are all out before anything is locked down. The lockdown period was a good period because then we were not going to work, but then we spent a lot of time together with her. We got to process a lot of things. We got to talk through a lot of things. Got to dig back through whatever it is that got us to that place. And I must say we are not fully restored. We are not at 100%, but we are definitely not where we were.
Yeah.
And we are probably at the happiest part of our marriage.
Yeah.
Because most of these things that were an issue have actually been resolved.
Yeah.
People have loved on us. People have cared for us in the UK. We found an amazing family there, an amazing church, people who have supported us. We've built friendships with people that have come and talked to us, and most of them don't necessarily know the background of everything, but just the warm welcome and the love and the care that we've gotten from especially the Kenyan community in Gloucester is amazing. So that has been, I would say that's been our restoration journey.
And I know as a church we have significant shortcomings in terms of the process of restoring leaders that have fallen. We have seen so many gaps in the recent past. It's something we are learning. It's a way that we are growing as a church, and I'm really grateful for the feedback, that you've given us throughout this process. But I just want you to speak into that and say, as a church, what should a church do if they are placed in a place where they need to restore one of their leaders? What are some things the church should do to ensure that that restoration process happens better, and that restoration process happens in a way that allows this person that was facing challenges be able to get back on their own 2 feet and to actually feel that they have a church and they feel they have a community? Yeah.
It takes me back to the parable of the shepherd. And clearly he leaves his 99 sheep that are safe and goes after one. Yeah. Which at that time I felt the church failed me as one of the leaders. Yeah. And this is not in any way to justify my actions and my choices and decisions that I made at that particular time. But I felt abandoned. I felt locked out. I felt like this one sheep that was part of the 100. And so long as the 99 were in, I felt as though the church focused more on the majority. Yeah. We already have this bigger pool. That one does not really matter. And at that time, I think I was craving even just for a call. I remember working with my team here at Chapel. I was constantly on phone, trying to resolve something, trying to talk to someone, because I led a team of about 300 people. And pastoring a team of 300 people is in itself such a big responsibility. And moving from 300 to 0, and you're crave, and then my personality is, I have a sanguine nature in me that draws energy from people. So I felt as though everyone went away. And what I would say is for the church is, look at leaders as human beings before they are leaders. Because I think every leader, before they become a leader, they are actually a human being. They have feelings, they have emotions, and they go through pain. And they go through pretty much everything that a normal human being will go through. If the church can focus on restoring people more than, I don't know, but this is very personal. I felt as though the name of the church was more important than this soul. And at that point, it was possible. I felt as though it is okay. Let Nikko die. But the name of the church has to be protected. Yeah. That's what I felt. And it was such a hard time, because I'd given my life to ministry at that time. Part of the reason why my wife and I had a drift was because she complained I worked too much. I was always in church. I was always traveling. I was always, if I'm not in a choir meeting, I'm in a worship team meeting. If not that, I'm leading a production meeting. If not that, I'm in a pastoral meeting. If not that, I'm out on mission. And I felt as though the sacrifice that I gave, if I could have gotten 1% of that, I think I would have made it through a little sooner. So yeah, I think if we can focus on restoring people and restoring fallen leaders over protecting the name of the church. I've never seen anyone go to the hospital. I've never heard that someone went to the hospital and they were told, because you brought yourself this disease, we're not going to treat you. And that's what it felt like at that time.
Thank you. That's very, very helpful to be able to hear, especially as a community of faith. Again, as I mentioned, we are not perfect. And I know that season had its own unique circumstances. But Nikko, you'll allow me, on behalf of the church, again, as a leader of the church, you'll allow me to take this opportunity to apologize for not being the church to you when you needed the church. I know I met you several times at that time, but you'll just allow me, on behalf of the wider church, to say we didn't surround you as well as we should have during that time, and we didn't put all our resource in terms of your restoration. But if you could find it and find a place in your heart to allow us to grow as a church in that area, and to allow us to, do better in the near future, because hindsight, they say, is the best sight. If you could allow us to learn from our mistakes, I pray that in the near future we'd be able to work with others better. But Nikko, thank you very much for being honest and sharing your journey with us, because this is exactly where we are as a church. We're trying to understand how to be able to work with people during difficult times. What I'll do is, just before we close our discussion, I'll give you the opportunity to say hi again to Nairobi Chapel, and to be able to pass a final message to the church. I'm so glad that you're back, and that we're able to engage with you this way. And again, as I've said, karibu tena again. But I just want to give you an opportunity to say a quick word to the church. It could be a word of hi. I know you've shared a lot, but for now, just to share, whatever you have in your heart, as a final, parting shot as you share to Nairobi Chapel. So feel free. Karibu sana.
Thank you. To Nairobi Chapel, I think I'll just like to start by apologizing and saying I'm very sorry for where I did not live up to the expectations of a leader and the leader that I was. I know that so many people looked up to me, and so many people went through my leadership, through the worship ministry, and it was definitely heartbreaking to see that the person that you've always looked up to has fallen. So I'd like to start by saying I'm really sorry to everyone, the congregation, to the choir, to the leaders that I worked with. From the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry, and there is not a single second that I take to justify whatever I did. Secondly would be to say leaders are human beings, and human beings have faults, and they have errors, and there are places that they don't do things as we expect them to do. I would request that you handle the leaders that you currently are working with a lot of grace and love on them, because the responsibility on their shoulders to lead, sometimes they lead bleeding, and because they don't have anyone to open up to, because it feels like everyone is looking up to you, they never get a vulnerable space. And so I will just say, treat them with a little bit of grace, because they're human beings. And then the last but not least is to appreciate each and everyone that reached out in that season, each and everyone that sent messages. I remember I received a call on Messenger from one of the church ushers who said, I don't know what you're going through, but I want you to know that I've taken this week to pray and fast for you. And I believe that I am a product of your prayers. I'm a product of your silent whispers to God. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that reached out in that season. And of course to the leadership of Nairobi Chapel. Pastor Nick has been in contact, and I've met with a few other pastors in the recent past, and talked to a few other pastors in the recent past, and just to say thank you. I love Nairobi Chapel. I appreciate Nairobi Chapel. I'm always open to be a part of Nairobi Chapel, and even a part of the wider community, because I believe that what Nairobi Chapel is doing is what the church should be doing. And so even this does not disqualify the good, because I believe the good outweighs the bad. And so let's focus on building the kingdom of God and raising more leaders and restoring the lost ones.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I can't think of a better way to end than that phrase you've just said. The good outweighs the bad, because that applies to you, Nikko.
Yeah.
You may have made a mistake towards the end, or there was a failure or a shortcoming, but I want to assure you that our worship ministry, in every sense, our ministry of music right here at Nairobi Chapel, has drawn such deep inspiration from your engagement with us. Our worship teams grew tremendously. Our choir, remember 300 voices?
Yeah.
I mean, the missions that we're able to do around the world with the worship teams and with the band, it has your fingerprint all over it. And there's a vision that you painted for us as a church in worship that was grand and was tremendous. And what has happened so far is a product of your vision, is a product of your input, is a product of your investment. There are many worship leaders here at Nairobi Chapel that drew such great inspiration from you and your engagement and your coaching and your mentorship. And our congregation, for all those years you served among us, was deeply, deeply impacted by your leadership in worship. So I think the best place to end for me now is to appreciate you on behalf of Nairobi Chapel, to say thank you for your faithful service among us, and we will deeply cherish each and every single ounce of investment that you made in the worship ministry here at Nairobi Chapel. We treasure that, and we treasure you, Nikko. Thank you so much again for accepting to come and chat today. And I pray that God blesses you. And, let's look for opportunities to be able to continue to serve together in ministry. May God bless you in the UK. Amen. And the ministry that God has opened for you in the UK. Amen. And thank you once again for joining us. Asante sana.
Thank you for
and
having
God
me.
bless. Salimia Tabs
really
and Salimia the kids.
I will, for sure.
Yeah, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Asante. Thank you.